Welcome you all to today's class on solar air heaters. My name is Anna Thomas, Assistant Professor from the Department of Renewable Energy. So we are all aware of the term air heating, right? So what does an air heater do? Basically, an air heating is a technology by which we heat up a space, a particular region or any particular object. So this technology has been there since a very long time, mostly, but we depend on the conventional sources like electrical sources are used for heating of the air around us using electric heaters. But a shift from this to the latest technology, which is the non-conventional or the renewable sources, which taps the energy from the sun for heating up a space, is called solar air heating. This technology is more of use in countries like cold countries where air heating or space heating is of much relevance. So here what we can see is the solar energy, the peculiarity or the advantage of using solar is it is a very clean source of energy. So that is a very potential alternative to the conventional source. So that is why this technology of solar air heating is of much importance. Here we can see that the solar radiation falls on the area. There should be an absorbing medium. The absorbing medium will capture this radiation and this absorbing medium will transfer the heat to the air around. That is the basic principle of solar air heating. So the main advantage is here we are using a clean source. It is the best alternative to the conventional electric heaters because sun is always a renewable source. It is in abundance. It doesn't cause any kind of environmental degradation. It is also there in numerous amount that we need to tap and use it for many other purposes. So moving on to the parts of a solar air heater. As you can see in the diagram, there are different components for a solar air heater. The most important component is the absorber. As I said in the previous slide, the solar radiation should be absorbed by some medium. So this medium here is we name as absorber plate. This absorber plate is the one which will absorb the radiation or the heat and transfer it to the surrounding air. Okay, so absorber plate is always the most important component of any solar air heater. That has to be there, that is a must. And above that, there is a glass cover. What is the purpose of a glass cover? Glass covers are acting as transmitters. They will guide the radiation through these transmitters or glass covers. The radiation falls on the absorber. Okay, so these needn't necessarily be glass. It can be plastic also. It should be transparent, but only transparent objects can smoothly transmit the radiation, and this transmitted radiation falls on the absorber. Then again, we have at the bottom this absorber will transfer the heat to the medium. So there's an inlet is provided for the air to flow in. There's an outlet at the other end. So the circulation of air happens inside. So this air has to be circulated, and this heat is being from the absorber plate, the heat is being transferred to the circulating air. And at the bottom we have insulation. At the sides also there is insulation. Insulation, we all know the basic principle of or the basic functioning of insulation is to not prevent the heat from getting lost to the surroundings. So there should be insulation at the bottom as well as the edges. Then the whole thing is placed inside a casing. That is for safety purpose. In order to protect this equipment, we need to place the whole thing in a container or a casing. So these are the different components or parts of a solar air heater. Most important part is an absorber. Above that there should be a glass cover, a transparent cover which can be glass or plastic, preferably glass, because glass has better properties to transmit. Transmissivity of a glass is much higher compared to that of a plastic sheet. Then we have a channel through which, a medium through which the air needs to be circulated. Below that there are insulations on the edges and sides to prevent the heat from flowing out, and at the whole assembly, the whole thing is placed inside a casing to provide protection so that it doesn't get prone to weathering conditions due to storm or high cyclones or wind. It doesn't get hampered. Okay. Moving on to the construction. From this portion itself, I have mentioned few points. The absorber plate, as I said, is the most important component. The peculiarity of an absorber, it needs to be blackened. So what is the speciality of a black object? It has the ability to absorb all of the heat. So always the absorber plates are metals because they are good conductors, and they are blackened so that they have the ability to absorb all of the heat falling on it. Okay, and this absorber plate will act as the heat exchanger. Why? Because this absorbed heat has to be exchanged to the medium. Medium is our air itself. We are heating the air. Working fluid is also the air. Then there are two types, broadly there are two types of working medium. One is the passive air heater and another one is the active air heater. So from the name itself we can know that passive air heating means we do not provide any additional or external devices for the circulation of air. That is, air just moves in, fresh air or the cold air moves inside the air heater, it gets heated. So when any object gets heated, its density decreases. So it becomes light. This light object will have a tendency to rise up, right? So this light air will rise up and it will automatically move through the outlet and it will provide way for the next batch of fresh air to come in. So that is how passive aerating happens. And on contrary, we also have active aerating. In active aerating, the peculiarity is we need to make use of external devices to supplement the flow of air. For that, we can use fans, we can use external blowers, etc., so that the circulation is more made faster. So that is the difference between an active and passive aerating. So when you do an analysis, we can understand that always active aeratings are more efficient. But on the contrary, there are moving parts to it. You need fans, blowers, so maintenance is difficult. So there's a balance. You need to focus on which are the points you need to focus more on to get the better output. So in some cases, cost might be an issue. You need to regulate on the cost. In such cases, you will go for passive aerating. There may be scenarios where efficiency is given of more importance. You are ready to spend much, but that time you are getting much efficiency, but the cost will be on the heavier side. So that is how there are two types on the basis of air circulation, passive aerating and active aerating. Then there could also be scenarios where, as I said, these air heaters are mostly used in cold countries, right? So in cold countries or in regions where we need more of sun. So where predominantly there can be moments when it is more cloudy. So the availability of sun is limited. Such countries naturally will need more of the heating purpose. So what we do is, in the absorber plate, they more or less they act as a thermal wall. These absorber plates are metals, as I said, and they have this ability to store the heat. Only then, even in cases of momentous clouds, when it is cloudy or partly cloudy on some days, the heat stored in these walls can be utilized for circulating into these areas using a fan. You can use a fan if it is an active circulation, or even without that, with the density difference, naturally the air can circulate. So that is how the working happens in a solar air heater. Now let's see what are the advantages as well as everything comes with its own set of merits and demerits. So in the advantages, when we move to the advantages of solar air heaters, one most crucial advantage of solar air heater is that here the working fluid itself is air. So working fluid as well as the space to be heated is air. So you are not making use of another external fluid. You needn't transfer the heat from this air to another fluid. So the air itself is the working fluid as well as the application fluid. But there are scenarios like in case of solar water heating, we might be heating another fluids which have much higher ability to heat up, and the heat from these fluids is being transferred to water. So there is a scenario where you have to make use of an heat exchanger to transfer the heat from one medium to another. But here, solar air heaters, air is being heated, air is being used for heating. So that is one advantage. The working fluid is same as the application fluid. Next advantage is the whole system is very compact. It is not very complicated. The whole design is simple. It is easy to maintain in that aspect. Third one is corrosion is eliminated here completely, because when we confront with solar water heaters, what we understand is these liquids have very high tendency, because these are all surrounded by metals. These get easily corroded when exposed to water. Here air is the medium, so there is very less chance or nil. The chance of corrosion is completely eliminated in a solar air heater. The other advantage is leakage doesn't cause a problem. Over the years, the system can have some kind of degradation. It can pose threats like some part of it might wage out, etc. So that time also, the leakages, if caused any, doesn't cause much issue to the environment, because it is just air. In some cases, but on the contrary, for water heaters, what happens is the fluid, if it is glycol or alcoholic substances, if it gets leaked into the water medium, it just becomes harmful for usage. So that such threats doesn't pose a problem here, because we are using air here. Air is not poisonous. Even if it leaks, it is not going to cause any kind of damage to the surroundings. Next one is freezing is in the problem here. Water heaters, everything is here is, if you notice, is compared with water heaters. Water heaters, there is problem of freezing. You need to use antifreeze solutions. There is problem of corrosion. Anti-corrosive substances have to be added to maintain the life of it. then there could be chances where you have to use a heat exchanger to transfer the heat from one medium to another. Such problems doesn't occur in a solar air heaters because here the fluid and the application fluid is air itself. You don't need a leakage problem, doesn't cause a problem here. The corrosion doesn't cause a problem here. Freezing doesn't happen yet. And finally, we can all guess that it is a very less complicated or a very simple design. Hence, the amount also is less. So these are the advantages of solar air heaters. Now let's move on to it also comes with few demerits. Since as we said, the system is cheap because it is not much complicated. Hence, its efficiency is also just not up to the mark because here air is being used to heat up, right? So the basic property of air is it doesn't have much thermal capacity. It is not a good conductor of heat. So when you compare it with water as well as many other liquids, air is much lower in grade when it comes to heat transferring properties. So that is one demerit. Hence it is mentioned poor heat transfer properties of solar air heaters. Next one is the property of air is a peculiar thing is it is very light. Its density is very less. So in order to heat up a very large space, you need huge volumes of air. So that is a demerit. Maybe the space needed to be heated up is too less, but the quantity of air needed is substantially higher. So that is another demerit. Third one is, as I said, the thermal capacity. It is not a good conductor of heat. It is not a good transferer of heat, and since it is less, you need it in large volumes. So these are the advantages and the disadvantages of solar air heaters. Now let's move on to the different types. We have already discussed one type of classification which is based on the air circulating mode. One is passive circulation, other is active circulation. Now depending upon the parts of solar air heaters, there are broadly two types of solar air heaters. As I discussed, the most important part of a solar air heater is an absorber plate. So this absorber plate itself can be of two types. One is the porous absorber solar air heaters and another one is non-porous absorber solar air heaters. Okay, so from the name you know porous and non-porous. What does that mean? Porous means it has the ability to transverse or travel through the plate. Absorber plate is porous. It has pores inside like a sponge. The peculiarity of a sponge is once you dip it in water and lift it, it becomes heavy. Why? Because it has soaked in all the water. So it is because it is a porous object. Whereas if it is non-porous, water will be just there. For example, you just take a plastic sheet and you dip it in water and take it, it will be as light as it was in the beginning. There is just water on the surface above and below, but nothing is actually entering into the plastic. Right. So like that, absorber plates are of two types. Porous absorber type solar air heaters and non-porous absorber type solar air heaters. So under each of this type, we again have classifications. So first let's discuss the non-porous type solar air heaters. Okay, so non-porous type solar air heaters itself are of 5 types. So as I said, non-porous means there is no penetration through the plate, just above the plate or below the plate. Airflow happens only above the plate or below the plate. Heat is transferred from above or below to the working fluid. Okay, so this is the first one. In this picture, airflow is happening above the absorber plate. First portion is the glass plate, then we have the absorber plate, then we have the insulation. Okay, so this airflow, you can see the passage. So below the passage, we have the absorber plate. So we can say that this is a solar type air heater where airflow is happening above the absorber plate. Okay, so above the absorber plate, air flows. This solar radiation is transmitted through the glass cover. Through the glass cover, transmitted solar radiation is absorbed by the absorber plate. Once the absorber plate absorbs this heat, it transfers the heat to the medium above, which is the air. So the air is being transferred to the air. So there is an inlet, there is again an outlet. Here, as you can see, the absorber plate and the insulation comes as a single unit. Below the absorber plate, we have insulation so that the absorbed heat is not lost to the bottom. Only to the top, it transfers the heat and air just passing through it gets heated up. This is just a cross section. This is the top view. Cross section means once you cut it, you can see the inner layers. This is how it goes. So this is the first type in which airflow happens above the absorber plate. Now let's move to the second type. Here, airflow is happening below the absorber plate. All the components remain the same. We have a glass plate, we have an absorber plate, that's the bottom plate, insulation, and the casing. Just that the order in which we provide the passage, The position where the passage is provided just keeps on varying. Okay, so here this is the second type where airflow is happening below the absorber, which means the glass as well as the absorber plate is single entity. So below the absorber plate we have provided a passage. So same operation, everything is same, just that the layout or the schematic of it changes. Once the solar radiation is transmitted to the glass cover, it gets absorbed by the absorber plate, and the absorber plate will transfer the heat which has been absorbed. It is get transferred to this medium through which air inlet is given. This air is heated up and it is taken out through the outlet. So this is the second type where airflow is happening below the absorber plate. This is the top view and this is the cross section. Next we have the third type where we have provision for both. That is, the first type and the second type are combined. Here airflow is happening above and below. It is, the design is such that there is passage for air to flow in above as well as below the absorber plate. Absorber plate is like this. The unity, this entity has two inlets for providing passage, and you take the outlet from there. Okay, so airflow happens above and below. This type is always it has been used conventionally where airflow is happening below the absorber plate. Okay, these types are not as efficient as you can guess because these are all non-porous type. When you penetrate through it, you will naturally get more air heating. So in that aspect, when you look, these are not as efficient, but the schematic is simple. It is possible to heat up but may not be that lasting. Okay, so this is the third type. Now we have the next type. This type is called the V corrugated absorber plate. All these, the previous three absorber plates were flat. They were just a simple plate. But here we are putting irregularities or corrugations are called. They are called corrugations. These corrugations are attached to they are made like that. They are called V corrugations. You are cutting V grooves into the absorber plate. The advantage of this over the other three are, here more area is getting absorbed or getting exposed to the solar radiation. Okay, more area gets exposed to the solar radiation, and this is again, here also understand that there is no provision to transfer the heat from above to below. It only gets transferred from these grooves to the exchanging medium. Okay, there is a provision for air passage. This metal plate, which is a blackened absorber plate, gets heated. The heat from there is transferred to this passage area for heating the air. So this is more advantageous compared to the other three because more area is exposed. But a lot of care has to be taken while designing this because you cannot make it at any random angle. There is particular specific angle in order to avoid multiple reflections. The solar radiation falls on it. There should be pre-designed angle at which these grooves should be cut so that it doesn't cause multiple reflections and go out. The radiation falls, it transfers the heat well enough, and the heat is being transmitted to the medium below it. Okay. Again, we have the fifth test. Now we have discussed air passage above, air passage below, air passage above and below. Then we have V corrugated, and the final type is the one called with fins. Fins attached means if it is a plain absorber plate, we attach small metal plates, metal fins they are called. These fins are attached to the absorber plate, and these plates when get again there also the area that is being exposed to the solar radiation increases. That is the advantage. So fins are attached to these, and through there the heated air is being transferred. So these are the 5 types of non-porous type solar air heaters. Okay, now let's move on to the porous type. From the name itself we know that porous means it has the ability to transmit it through. It can collect the air through it, the heat through its transfer. If this is a plate, through here it can go and penetrate and come out. Other it was like above and below or above and below but never through it. So porous can absorb it through the material. So according to hence the name porous air heater. So there are broadly 3 types. As you can see the 3 types. One was the mesh or the matrix type air heaters. Second one is the clear glass and dark glass combination. Third one is overlapped glass plate. Okay. So here this is the absorber plate. Okay. Absorber plate is not flat. It is not a simple design. It has a matrix like structure. Small metal wires are there. So these wires, it is more or less like a mesh. Through this mesh, what happens? Solar radiation after getting transmitted through the glass cover is absorbed. The heat being absorbed to all parts of the wire mesh is being then given to the passage. So we have an air in. This air in is getting exposed to this air in, passes through these meshes, and it comes out, the heated air comes out through here. Other parts are all same. There should be a glass cover, there should be bottom plate and insulation, also a casing. It may not be depicted in all the figures, but understand glass cover is mandatory for transmission. Absorber plate is the most important component, only that here it is porous. Porous means it has the ability to penetrate the air or soak in the air and heat it and give it out. Then there is bottom plate and insulation. The whole thing is kept inside an assembly. So that is the first type. So instead of wire mesh, there can also be a slit expander type. This means the design inside that metal can change. It needn't always be a mesh. It can also be slitted expanded metals. Okay. The next type is the clear glass and the dark glass. Clear dark glass and dark glass is the second type of porous absorber solar aerators. So here we what we can see is there are a combination of clear glasses which are kept at the top, and through these clear glasses the solar radiation falls, gets transmitted and then gets absorbed by the dark glasses. So here clear glasses will act as the glass cover. The set of dark glasses will act as the absorber. So through these glasses, dark glasses, which is being continuously exposed to solar radiation, is heated. So the air which passes through here will naturally get the heat from these dark glasses and we take it out. Okay, so that is how the second type works. Then the last type is the overlapped glass plate solar aerators. Okay, overlapped glass, you can see there are sets of glass plates which are kept one above the other. So whenever overlapping takes place, there only we will highlight it, or we can see that those places are blackened. Overlapping portions are blackened, so that these overlapping portions will together, these plates will together act as an absorber. Not just one plate, but the set of a lot of overlapped glass plates. These overlapped sections will act as absorber. So the heat, the solar radiation is first transmitted from the glass cover through the glass cover, and then these are gets exposed through each of these layers. It can penetrate through each of these layers because these are all glass plates. Wherever there is overlapping, it acts as an absorber plate. And finally, you take out the air through here. There is insulation also at the bottom, and then there is a casing. So these are the three types of porous type absorbers. So if you do a comparison, you can easily identify that here the designs are a little more complicated, a little complexity is there. You need to be careful. Proper maintenance should be done. The spacing is to be maintained. The distance between the glass plates is a criteria. When the design becomes complex, the advantage is you get more efficiency. The absorber plates are more sophisticated compared to the simple plain design. So in this session, we have seen what a solar aerator is, what are the different parts of a solar aerator, how do you construct it, then based on circulation, there are two types, active and passive. Based on the type of absorber plate, there are broadly two types, porous and non-porous. We also delve into the advantages of using a solar aerator and also the disadvantages of a solar aerator. Then we moved into detail into each of the non-porous and porous type. In non-porous type, there are broadly 5 types: airflow above, airflow below, airflow above and below, and then the absorber plate itself has corrugations. Absorber plates has metal fins attached to it. These are the 5 types. And in porous type, there are broadly 3 types where the absorber plate has different characteristics. One is, it is a mesh. Here, it is a combination of clear and dark glass. These are all like pebbles. Okay, some of the pebbles are clear. It will act as a glass. The dark pebbles will act as the absorber. Then we have overlapped glass plate. We did just brushed up through the comparison between these two types, and we realized that always porous types have this advantage of being more efficient in its operation. That's all. Thank you.